Hello everybody, David Schuster here. In the United States and around the globe, there's a growing list of public figures who are now telling President Donald Trump to go himself. Let's start overseas. At the European Union, a Danish member of parliament unleashed the expletive over Trump's plans to take over Greenland.
Dear President Trump, listen very carefully. Greenland has been part of the Danish kingdom for 800 years. It's an integrated part of our country. It is not for sale. Let me put it in words you might understand. Mr. Trump,
a leader of the European Union meeting then warned members not to use such language regardless of their...
Let me put it in words you might understand. Mr. Trump,
a leader of the European Union meeting then warned members not to use such language regardless of their views of Donald Trump. So a member of the Spanish parliament then stood up in the EU and, without using any profanity, still told Trump and his oligarch friends, including ex-owner Elon Musk and Facebook owner Mark Zuckerberg, to get lost.
And to Musk, Zuckerberg and company. In Europe, we have a market of millions of users that provide money to your companies, yes, but we also love protecting our citizens and democracies by making laws. If you don't like it, you can always leave and take it or leave it. You can always take your Nazi salutes and your masculine energy and go back home. Viva Europa, hoy más que nunca. Muchas gracias.
Take your Nazi salutes, Elon Musk, and your masculine energy, Mark Zuckerberg, and go back home.
ICE, Donald Trump, mass deportations have begun. The nightmare is upon us. So it looks like the ICE, Donald Trump, mass deportations have begun. The nightmare is upon us. And let me tell you, just as expected, non-immigrants are being caught up in the wake of this. I've got a statement from the mayor of Newark. I've got a little bit of a piece to read about this, but let me tell you this. This is a military veteran, someone from Puerto Rico, an American citizen who was detained by ICE agents without a warrant, demanding to see his papers. The papers of an American citizen, a military veteran. Guaranteed, this was the question yesterday, is, well, it's clear this guy's not white. No one's gonna come to me and demand to see my papers. Prove you're an American citizen. Let me see your military veteran confirmation. This is something I actually got from several Trump supporters when it came up in conversation that I was a former Marine. Let me see your ID. Fuck you. I don't owe you proof that I'm an American. I owe you nothing. I was a former Marine. Let me see your ID. Fuck you. I don't owe you proof that I'm an American. I owe you nothing, whether you're a Trump supporter or ICE. Verification of the legitimacy of my citizenship or the fact that I served in the United States Marine Corps. You can fuck straight off. This is the attitude that needs to be carried out by or the fact that I served in the United States Marine Corps. You can fuck straight off.
States, the shock is still reverberating over the totality of Donald Trump's January 6th have been even more alarming than many Europeans had anticipated. Back here in the United States, the shock is still reverberating over the totality of Donald Trump's January 6th pardons. Most lawmakers expected President Trump to pardon more than 1,000 January 6 rioters convicted of nonviolent offenses, but Trump added another 400 to the pardon list who had been convicted of assaulting police and violence. The disgust among Democrats and many Republicans has been intense, and countless police officers who defended the Capitol on January the 6th are speaking out. You may recall D.C. police officer Daniel Hodges.
And as he was being attacked, one rider ripped off Officer Hodges' gas mask, another hit him in the head with his own baton, one tried to gouge one of his eyes out. And as he was being attacked, one rider ripped off Officer Hodges' gas.
Daniel Hodges.
And as As he was being attacked, one rider ripped off Officer Hodges' gas mask. Another hit him in the head with his own baton. One tried to gouge one of his eyes out. When you saw that Trump pardoned all of these people, virtually everyone who was charged and convicted, even those who saw their cases ongoing, even those who pleaded guilty, just what went through your mind?
I mean, it wasn't a surprise. This is what Trump campaigned on. The die was cast for this on November 5th, right? So this is what the people voted for. And
Shalom to the elect of Yasharal. All praises and glory goes to Yahweh. By Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone and salutations unto the elect men feeding the sheep of Yahweh. By Hashem Yahushai, in sincerity and truth of this great gospel coming out of our Bible. Coming out of our Bible. And like we said, President Trump is the perfect man for the job, man. The perfect man for the job. Perfect man for the collapse of America. The perfect man to bring in the race war, the riots, the civil wars, right? To bring an end to this man's system. To bring an end to this man's system because he's doing exactly what he was put in office to do. Order out of chaos. Order out of chaos, right? You got these other so-called Caucasians upset with Donald Trump. On both sides, the Republicans and Democrats, right? Republicans and Democrats, right? The talk of the town is F-U-C-K to the man, right? They're saying F Trump. That's what they pushing, right? We saying go Trump, right? We all for Trump. Trump is doing the work of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, man. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, right? It's the King Heart who signed all them executive orders. It's King Hearts who's pushing this deportation, right? It's the Lord who's putting that spirit in the King's heart to push these different executive orders and do these things, right? And these people, they don't understand what's going on because they don't understand who's in power. It's our Lord, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. And what else you see? You see the spirit of insurrection, the spirit of people ready to take down a government all in the air, man. They just got a show coming out talking about the president's dead, right? He was the last one with the president, right? Black dude who was watching the president. And the president ended up dead. So they already pushing a dead president scenario in this place, man. I'm gonna go to the book of 2nd Ezra 15. Let's go to 16 and reads, for there shall be sedition among men, right? The Bible said there shall be sedition among men. Let's go to sedition, right? The word definition of sedition, it says conduct, speech enticing people to rebel against authority of a state or monarch, right? You got that seditions conversation, right? You got people talking about leaving America because Trump is president. You got people talking about fighting against Trump because Trump's sending ICE agents all throughout Babylon the Great, who's about to be impacted. You Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? Because this is the time of what Jacob's trouble, right? The scriptures also said they shall not regard. They shall when the enemy come in as a flood, right? That's how they coming in, right? It says they're going to schools, they're going to churches, right? Place of employment, right? They were talking about catching people slipping on third shift, right? So Esau's on a mission. Right? It says, and this mission that he's on is going to cause the people to rebel, right? It says conduct of speech enticing people to rebel against the authority of a state or monarch, right? Read it says, for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, right? Let's go to regard. Regard. This says consider or think of someone or something in a specific way. They're not going to regard that's their president talking to them. That's their mayor. That's their senator. That's the people they're not going to regard. That's police. That's the people of authority when all freaking hell break loose, right? Because that's what's coming. That's what's coming to Babylon the Great. For there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings. No matter of fact, let's go back. Let's go back to verse 15. The 2nd Ezra. We're going to read 16, 15, and 15. It says, "For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another people, and swords in their hands." Right? And like I said, Trump was bragging about how much guns these so-called white people have. He said we have guys who, he was talking about the January 6th people, how much guns they have, right? They got lots of guns, right? Lots of bullets, right? And what was their mission at? To take down the so-called government. That's what was their mission, right? And right now, what else you got? You got a bunch of people in Babylon the Great with guns, not just so-called militia people. You got regular citizens, right? It's going to be a civil war, a race war, a world war. All kind of wars is going to break out, right? Gang wars, right? It says, "For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. In the course of their actions shall stand in their power." It says they shall not regard their kings nor princes, man. That's the time we're living in.
All I can say, if you want to know who I am, is I am you, and I'm the people.
And so you've come here to Malcolm X Park today with a giant guillotine. Tell me about the intent behind that.
What I'll say is that it's art, and it's open to interpretation. It's subjective. I certainly have my own reasons. You know, there's people I care about who are in jeopardy and going to probably be losing their rights to exist how they would like to love how they would like to be who they are meant to be. But this is a real symbol, and it's I hope to allow people the opportunity to see that, you know, we are the people and we're many and they are few, the people above us, and we have real power, and the people that are running the system should be treading lightly.
Now, the guillotine is historically associated with the French Revolution. Is there a connection there for you?
You could certainly say that. The wealth disparity in the U.S. now is actually worse than it was in France in 1760 to 1790. It's just we don't realize it. We're not exactly starving, and we have nice things like iPhones and stuff that distract us from the fact how much wealth and resources is held above us and kept from us. So we have these distractions. We feel like we're living the life, but really things can be a lot different. Things can be a lot more fair. And I hope to wake people up to that. I hope to wake people up to that.
Is there a type of revolution that you would advocate for our country?
You know, I can't exactly tell the future, but I know I see a lot of different communities joining hands, and I think that's what's important. You know, all sorts of different. The communists are joining with the anarchists, are joining with the queers, are joining with trans people. I think it's important that we set aside our differences. Anybody who wants to make a change should unite against anybody that feels that they are above the general interests of the people.
Let's go back. It says 2 Ezra 15 and 15. "For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes." Right? They're always talking about these people at the top. The people at the top, they control everything. They have all the money, and these people at the bottom are tired of it. Right? They're talking about revolution, insurrections, uprises, right? It says, "In the course of their power, in the course of their action shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able," right? When all hell breaks loose in these riots in these cities, these insurrections, right? Martial law, curfews, lockdowns, tanks rolling in the streets, right? Let me see your papers, let me see your ID. Man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, for because of their pride the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and what men shall be afraid. All right, and that's the spirit that's in the air. The spirit of insurrection, the spirit of anger towards the rulers of these different countries. You see what just happened in, what was that, South Korea? Right, they just kicked the president out of power. Right, you had different presidents who done resign, different leaders who don't resign. Right, they see what's coming. All hell about to break loose in Babylon to fucking break. Right, and money ain't gonna be able to save these people either, man. They think money's gonna save them, right? Because this is one thing that just popped up. It says they talking about Trump rigged the elections, right? And here's a quote from DJT. It says, and then he journeyed to Pennsylvania, where he spent like a month and a half campaigning for me in Pennsylvania, Trump said. And he's a popular guy, and he was very effective. And he knows these computers better than anybody. All those computers, Trump continued, those votes counting computers, and we ended up winning Pennsylvania like in a landslide. So it was pretty good. It's pretty good, right? They're saying, because my man specialized in computers, that he rigged the election. Right? You already got talks about him rigging the election. Right? Got these firefighters. Look at the spirit they on. They all done threw the Trump mask on. Right? And that's the spirit, man. And firefighters, they gonna join the police. They gonna join the ICE. They gonna help out in them times, man. They gonna have that 1950 spirit. That 1940 spirit, right? Because we come into the time of Jacob's trouble, man. The time of Jacob's trouble. Read here, it says, who is this? U.S. Representative Andy Ogles, Representative Tennessee. It says, House Republican proposes change to Constitution to allow Trump to serve a third term, right? That's the spirit, man. They treating this man like he's a god, like he's a god. Right? This is the man of the hour right now. This is the HNIC, the head nigga in charge. And what's the spirit in his heart, man? The spirit in his heart is what? War. Scripture said the words in his mouth were smoother than butter, but what's in his heart? War. I'm going to read the book of Proverbs 29, verse 2. It reads, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. Right? When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. Because after that 1,000 years, we're going to punish the heathens. We're going to let them go back home. Right? They're going to get to build. They're going to get to live amongst their people. The people are going to be rejoicing on the face of the earth. This earth is going to be plenteous. Everything's going to be beautiful. But when a wicked motherfucker rules, you know what happens. He wants everything for himself. It says the thief cometh not to steal, kill, and to destroy. The spirit of destruction, spirit of thievery, spirit of hate. That's underneath the rulership of who? Esau, fucking Edom. The wicked the Bible talks of. Man, how you think these devils got rich? It ain't because of hard work. Hell no, man. You looking at the children's of murderers and robbers and killers. Right? It says Proverbs 29:2, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn, right? And you got the Latinos mourning, you got the Native Americans mourning, you Negroes are mourning, even the so-called white man, he mourning. Everybody mourning, the Arab mourning, the East Indian mourning, right? The whole earth is mourning, right? This is Luke. Read verse 4 and 18. It says, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he have anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He have sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to preach deliverance to the captives, and recovering of sight to the blind, to set at liberty them that are bruised, to preach acceptable year of our Lord, right? The year of what? Deliverance from what? This captivity, right? Right now you're in captivity, you're being oppressed, you're being punished. And shit, you want out this motherfucker. Read the book of Ecclesiastes 7 verse 7. It says, surely oppression, right, maketh a wise man mad. Right? Oppression maketh a wise man mad, and the gift destroyeth the heart, right? Look at Snoop Dogg, boy, they don't give him gifts. Rick Ross, all these so-called celebrities and actors, Negroes, Hispanics who been sold out. Right? Their minds is destroyed. Right? They oh yes, master, whatever you need, master, yes, so that's the spirit they own. Surely oppression maketh the wise man mad. And who's being oppressed? The poor of Israel. Right? Because we're being, how we say, treated like we're at the bottom, and that's where we at right now. This is society, right? We're only here to build this man's system up and be his entertainment. Right, that's it. After that, man, we serve no purpose to this man. This man will never make us an equal, and we don't want to be a fucking equal. At least the elect, we don't want to be equal with Satan, right? Because Satan's going down, right? His time is short. It says Psalms 9:9, the Lord also will be a refuge for the oppressed, a refuge in times of trouble. Times of trouble. What times we in? At a time of trouble. Right, a time of trouble. Ask a Latino. In the crib, Guadalupe up, and Jesus stood up praying for the Lord, Satan, to protect him from Satan, and that ain't gonna happen, because them gods they praying to don't exist, right? Them gods they praying to don't exist, and we've been telling them this was coming, right? We've been telling them this is coming. It says, U.S. citizens warned to carry ID amid ICE wrap-ups, right? There's ICE on a mission. ICE on a mission from Nero